So a lot of people have been asking for removal of spawn selection in Z1, and I was just going to make this video about the spawn selection removal in general, but I'm kind of going to just center it around the combat update in general. By the way, this is some gameplay from my man T-Hump. Obviously, you guys probably know that, and if you aren't following him by some magical reason, I don't know how you're not following T-Hump if you're watching this video, but if you aren't following him, I'll leave him down in the description. This is his gameplay, because I did play in Z1, but I was on an i5 and a 970, and when I recorded with OBS, I got like 2 frames because I didn't know to turn my shit to low, and I probably ran around with my render distance on high. It was a bad time. It's just a bad time. So first off, a lot of people want rid of the spawn selection. Now, I can see why this is good, and I can also see why some people don't want it. Now, the majority of people do want it to be gone, and that Cardo has said that he has forwarded it to the higher up people. You know, he tries his best to do everything, and you can see in this tweet, he kind of apparently is getting a lot of hate, so that's really unfortunate for old Cardo, because, you know, he means well. So they want rid of spawn selection, and I can see why this is good for public games, because in public games, everybody lands in the same exact place. You know, most of the people, unless they're just terrible at the game, they land in the exact same place, PV or wherever, just dead center of the safe zone most of the time. And it's good for hosted games. Most people have agreed they want to keep it for hosted games. They want to keep it for competitive, because in competitive, you know, everybody tries to stray away from each other. Everybody tries to land off from everyone else, and that way everyone can live, and then you can get looted up and actually have a, in general, good fight instead of a off the spawn RNG, one person gets a shotgun, you get a pistol type of deal. Now, obviously in Z1, they did not have spawn selection, and a lot of people want to keep it as true to Z1 as possible. You know, they want everything back that they possibly can get. And even in early Z2, they didn't have spawn selection, but they added it in mainly because everybody would say that they would spawn over the middle of nowhere and have to leave the game. And in Z1, you know, that could be an issue with the open areas of the map if they hadn't have added a few smaller POIs. You know, they said that a while back that they were adding a few small POIs so that you wouldn't get absolutely no loot if you landed in those certain areas that were, you know, not that prevalent with POIs. And a lot of people complained about that, but if you did remove the spawn selection, that would be good for if you got those certain areas that you spawned in. And if you still didn't want to land there, you know, you can always exit. It's not like you get a middle of nowhere spawn every single time. It's not that hard to exit the match and go into a new one unless the lobbies don't fill. And with Z1, the lobbies will definitely, you know, PUBG and Fortnite, they both have their own system of dropping out of the plane and landing wherever you want to land. But with H1, one of the things that was so cool about when you would play the game is you never knew where you were going to land, and you would just open up into the parachute and you'd be like, yo, where are we landing? And you know, rush to turn up your render distance, look around, see where you spawned over, and see where you wanted to land at with your team. You know, look around, see like, yo, there's this many people spawned around me, there's this many people here, these people are landing here, we need to land here away from this team. Like now it shows on the map in the lobby, it's a red area, you know, there's a shit ton of people spawning there. It just kind of kills the whole RNG of, hey, how many people did the game make spawn with us? Is there 8 people here? Is there absolutely no one here? Is there one team landing over here? I've never really put that much thought into the removal or keeping of spawn selection, but when I do think about it, I honestly would rather have just the old RNG spawning, you know, that way that you can explore different areas of the map and just get random ass spots every time. And it's just, I don't know, it just feels better to have it that way. And, you know, all the original people want it to be that way so that it feels more like Z1. You know, they want everything back, basically just a full entire revert as much as possible. So I think it would be better for the spawn protection, or the spawn selection, my bad, to be removed. Now moving on to the Hellfire. Now Lucas 60 FPS has actually done a lot of stuff on Twitter about what we should do, what we shouldn't do, tweeting at the devs, having polls and stuff, and he's been talking about the Hellfire. Now they do want to keep the Hellfire to keep it for noobs. You know, new players seem to like the Hellfire a lot more than the shotgun or the AR, because they can just, you know, basically drive at you and full spray you. But a lot of people want rid of the Hellfire. Now I don't really mind the Hellfire. I don't have a lot of people that I run into that use it, but I do think that it should be gone on Z1. I think that Z1 should be as true to the actual map and the actual game that it was, you know, what you're watching on screen. I think it should be as close to that as humanly possible, you know, just better hit reg and better overall, you know, FPS and all that. I've always honestly felt like the Hellfire really doesn't have that much of a place in H1. You know, it was to combat the shotgun, and they basically put it in because the shotgun was trash and everybody complained about it. So they're like, okay, we'll put a full sprayable weapon that you can just drive up and hold down left click with. And I really don't think it has a place in the game. The only reason they want to keep it is probably because they spent so much time coding it, you know, working on getting the gun in the game, and also because they feel like noobs love it. But it just doesn't feel right to have in Z1. It wasn't in Z1, and I don't think it has a place in Z1 itself. But what I want more than anything, more than the Hellfire being removed, more than anything whatsoever, more than spawn selection, is the movement that you see on screen. This fast movement, the snappy animations, the gun models, the textures, everything. We want it back, and I think I speak for everyone. You know, I definitely say a lot of stupid shit, and I may say some stuff that, you know, I don't entirely, you know, it doesn't make that much sense, but we can all agree that we want the jump, we want the animations, we want the sounds, we want the models, everything pre-combat update we want. I want the old shotgun. I don't care if it's the old sounds that much. You know, the sounds now, they're not that good. But definitely we want the old the shotgun that it was. The shotgun, like early Z2 shotgun would be better than anything we could have. Just make the shotgun to that, and that's about as good of a shotgun as we can get. Now, C-swapping, they said they were going to bring back a long-ass time ago. It's probably been 4 or 5 months now, and apparently they had so many bugs with it that they couldn't even do it, so we're not going to get C-swapping back, I guess, which is very unfortunate. You know, a lot of early Z1 players want this back. You know, you see T-Hump is C-swapping like a madman in this video. I think the main reason that they don't want to revert everything and make it like it is what you're seeing on screen is because they think that when they revert to Z1, they'll get new players coming in, and they don't want the new players to get shit on, because as you see in this video, a good player in Z1 was a lot better than a new player that had just got the game. Now in Z2, it's stand still, shoot at each other, you know, or COD rush and full spray, and a lot of the noobs can actually get a lot of kills in Z2 with the no outplay mechanics, no jump shot, no C-swap, all that shit. I genuinely think that Daybreak think if they revert everything, you know, full spray AR, C-swap, jump shotting, everything back to what it was in Z1, that we will shit on their precious new players, when in reality what people will be playing Z1 have been probably playing since Z1, or at least they are dedicated enough that they don't care if they get shit on. They just want to go back and play the old map. Newsflash, Daybreak, you don't have very many new players. Your Steam charts shine with no new players, you know. It's pretty obvious that you don't have anybody new coming to Z1. Now, they do think, you know, if they revert this, Z1 will come back, all this shit, this will bring the game back. So that's the only reason I feel like they won't revert all this, is because they are afraid that if they do, and the new players do come, like, hey, there's a bunch of hype, let's check out this new map, let's see what all the fuss is about, this is supposed to be really good, and then they come back and get jump shot, C-swap, shit all over with a full spray AR, you know. But at the same time, these aren't that hard of mechanics to learn. Like, if you took the time to actually play the game, if you're genuinely interested in the game, you could learn jump shotting and seat swapping very easy. You bind a key to the seat 4, seat 3, whatever, you press that key and you start spraying at someone, and it makes the game more fun. It adds more, you know, just different play mechanics, different everything. It mixes up the game other than getting out of the car and shooting at someone, and that's why everybody wants all this back. I only played like 400 hours on Z1, but I can tell you why mainly that all these people want all this back. So I think the combat update, just completely in general, everything, movement, you know, everything I said, I'm like a broken record, but everything in the combat update needs to be reverted, and we can get back to, you know, actually being on track for it to be doing good as a game. We've been asking since the combat update for you to revert all this shit. So Daybreak, you basically just need to full send it. Hell, give us this game that is on screen right now. Give us everything right here. I don't care, bugs and all. Just give us this game that you're watching on screen right now to get us away from what the game is right now. The game that we have right now is not Z1. Also, for all the people asking me if Z1 will be hitting today, unfortunately it won't be. There will be an update today that will be 3 hours, and I've seen a lot of people on Twitter thinking that the 3-hour update was Z1, and let me tell you, it took 4 days to put Z2 on, so it's not going to be a 3-hour update to put Z1 on, but it will not be today. H1Z1 did tweet to a person that said Z1 and actually said it will not be today, that it will hit test server and then will be put onto the live server, because I'd seen a lot of stuff about it being sent straight to the live server, and I thought that was kind of odd. So that did get debunked. You know, it will be on the test server first for people to try out, find bugs, stuff like that, and then it will be on the live. You know, out of Daybreak, we definitely expected there to be, you know, not them to not be on time with an update. That's pretty obvious, but hopefully it'll be out within the next week or two. I would really hope anyway. It'd be really bad if it was. I think that my perfect version of H1Z1 would be what you're seeing on screen, except with the early Z2 gun mechanics, the early Z2 shotgun, and maybe preseason 3 colors. I like these colors that are on Z1, but I also like the colors that are on Z2 early preseason 3. So either one of them would work for me, just as long as they work on the visibility. The visibility is just absolutely terrible right now in the game, so they really need to work on that more than anything. And then once they get that done, they definitely need to work on the actual removal of the combat update, the old everything, and just make the game like it used to be. Just accept that you were wrong with the combat update and everything, and just go back to the old ways. That's what's best for the game right now. But I hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go leave a comment down, and if I did miss anything that you want brought back from Z1, like colors, anything like that. If you want like preseason 3 colors, if you want this old foggy look like the original Z1 was, or anything like that, just leave it down in the comments. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.